We'll continue with the papers, and I will begin with Weekend Trust. Okay, below the masthead we have Tinubu appoints Ganduje, Akinyemi, Wawuna, others as board chairman. Malud, please Kano government trade words over terrorism alert. That is on page 26. The first one too is on page 26. And then on page 21 we have Northern music industry names facelifts, says Morel. The big headline here, which is the bold one here, which is the last story I will take from the Weekend Trust, says sacked from FCT, IDPs pick up pieces in Nasarawa, and the riders raid, victims drawn from Katsina, Zamfara, Circle tell others. Second rider, bandits set my husband's daughter ablaze. That's a very, 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 very sad one. Very sad indeed. With that, I'll move on. That sad note, I'll move on to Sunday Sun, the voice of the nation. And then I will take, below the masthead, we have panic in Kano over terror attack plot. That is on page 26. Police allege a plan to hit public gathering. No threat of attack in Kano, government insists. And then below that, we have the federal government under fire over 75,000 cash transfers. There are readers to the story. If you want to know more, it's on page 12. And a beautiful lady here is changing the narrative, saying her own from her perspective. She says, I have never faced sexual harassment in Nollywood, says Kalista Okoronkwo. We want more testimonies like this. We want a clean industry. Indeed. As much as possible. And with that, I will move to Saturday Punch. And I'll start with the story by the side of the masthead. It says, men should stop killing women over alleged infidelity, says the legendary Joke Silva. She looks nice in that picture. And then next to that, tariff hike. Telecom subscribers issue ultimatum for reversal. Oppose NLC threat. The bold one here, that story is on page 4, by the way. The Joker Silver story, the men stop killing women story, is on page 17. And the bold one here says, EFCC battles internal scandals as operatives loot recovered assets. Revelation, product of internal cleansing, ongoing audit, says the EFCC. And one more story before we go. I see the president, the new president, it's going back for the second time of Donald Trump says the U.S. deport hundreds as Trump begins crackdown on illegal immigrants. Okay, and then with that, I think I'm done with the papers.
Oh,
yes,
you are. Wow, that made for very interesting reading. Okay, let me take off with the Blueprint Weekend. Above the masthead, tax reform bill. Nigerians reject governor's VAT sharing formula and they back Mr. President. As page 7 continues with, they say the bill has the potential to be the cornerstone for poverty alleviation and a just economic redistribution. Meanwhile, the bold headline is how to curb incessant fuel explosions. Experts and stakeholders are speaking from pages 8 and 9, with the riders saying tanker drivers should acquire specialized skills. What about we Nigerians? Patience, what do you think?
No, I mean,
if the tanker drivers need new skills, what do we need?
I think reorientation and behavioral change. Why do you rush there all the time? People die, we shout, we go back and then start again. I mean,
just after the burial is done, the obsequies, the tears are dry.
They are back
fly
there again
to yet another.
So what are we talking about?
Wow,
yeah, it's sad.
Nigerians, this is not who we are. Meanwhile, someone is talking about the Federal Capital Territory. They're speaking about the minister, talking about Ezenwo Yeson Wiki. They say what visionary leadership has done to Abuja in 2 years. Meanwhile, something very creative here. An insight into the unique lifestyle of Lagos Laguniers. You'll be confusing that word with billionaires.
Yes, Laguniers.
But I advise you to go to pages 17 to 20 to know what Laguniers really means, okay? And let's talk about lost to the city, stories of Nigerians who no longer visit their villages. Some may even go as far as telling you that the fear of the village is the beginning of great ancestral wisdom.
But that is sad.
But that's for each man to tell his own tale. We have individual stories to tell. Okay, let's move to Saturday Telegraph. Above the masthead, there's talk about killings and kidnappings as residents of Anambra communities flee their homes. Why? There's more details on pages 2 and 6. Weddings and funerals now hold in Oka and Onitsha. Some more talk about the Niger tanker explosion. A survivor here is saying the fire engulfed us with the speed of light. Patience in continuation. Be my analyst for another. Let me give you 30 seconds to 1 minute to make a rebuttal on this. A survivor says the fire engulfed us with the speed of light.
But that's what you should do. That's what would happen. That's what would happen. I'm only praying that we have a survivor who is talking about it and that they have learned their lessons. And we don't have, because I don't want to use words that shouldn't be used on national TV, but it's practically, you begin to think that human beings no longer human beings. Do our lives not matter to us anymore? No matter the level of poverty. It's only when you are alive that you can fight poverty. You got there and people are roasted like, I don't want to use another word again, and I pray we learn. We need to stop it. We need to stop
so as we dry our tears, Nigeria, please, no going back.
No.
To habits we have imbibed from where we don't know over time. There's no going back to this habit. Okay, still from Saturday Telegraph, let's talk about terrorism. We have the visage here of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria talking about Okay, our great president, federal government orders probe of non-governmental organizations over financing allegation sources. The writers say entrenched interests don't want insurgency to end. Patience, I'll come to you again. From page 7, read something. It's not from us. Please, take this rejoinder now. From the Saturday Telegraph. The Senate is quoted to have said that retired generals are behind illegal mining, banditry, and kidnappings. That's from the Senate, and it's on page 7.
You see, these accusations and conspiracy theories or whatever, it's been on and on and on. I think it's time that the country should stop. That's my personal opinion. I think the country should stop and truly investigate what's going on, because this accusation thrown around can actually hurt and actually can cause more harm than we think. But if we stop and look at it in its totality and come out with the truth, maybe we can move on as a nation.
Nice one. Even as we celebrate the lives and times, one of our great generals, talking about Jeremiah,
popularly known as Jerry Boy.
Yes, may his soul rest in peace, and may God continue to fortify and comfort his family.
Amen.
Okay, there's more just about money. Talking about the Central Bank of Nigeria, purchasing managers index rose to 51 in December. Okay, finally, there's talk about some culture here. Kingmakers and family claims Owode absconded for fear of death. That they say is untrue. That's from page 3 of Saturday Telegraph. They insist the new Alaafin traveled to put his business in order. There are other riders. My last paper. Oh, there's no sports. Wow. We can't know how Osime is doing, how Lukman is doing. Now, wow. Okay, this one is key. I think Nigerians should know of this. It's talking about the $6 billion Mambila Power contract. And it says here that former presidents, generals, Obasanjo and Buhari, retired generals, Obasanjo and Buhari made brilliant defense for Nigeria in Paris. And from page 4, we get the gist that they delight an international team of lawyers. Litigant Sunrise Power failed to produce witnesses. To be a president, is it a day's job? Let us give it up for our retired generals and former leaders, Joe. Okay, there's a lot more, but we're enjoying to get your copy of the dailies as time is not on our side. We want to hit the ground running and get to the meaty matter, even as we head towards our first break. Remember,